Hello, everyone. Welcome to Asian Sport. My name is Chilata Jewett Amachi, and on today's episode, we are going to be talking about the rise in caregiving in Canada. Now, we all know what caregiving is. A caregiver is the person who gives care to people who needs it, like rendering them services like washing, laundry, and so on. It could be a patient or convalescent or and so on. But now we are worried about the rise that has become so high in Canada, that is in catering. But not to worry. We have been concerned about a particular problem, which is we don't know if this has become the another modern style of slavery. But you don't have anything to worry. We have a very intelligent and smart looking guest, Mr. Victor Libe. He's the senior manager, that is the senior regional manager for Oxford International Group. Yes, North America. He's in a better position to tell us exactly what we need to be handling today. Please make welcome Mr. Victor Libe.
I'm
Hi, Mr. Victor. You're looking amazing.
thank you.
Actually, really good on white,
Really?
Yes, I think you should get more white. So, before we dive into the show, okay, I want you to tell us about Oxford International Group.
All right. Oxford International is an international conglomerate. We actually have partnership with lots of universities across the UK, the US, and Canada.
Okay.
And what we mainly do is we facilitate the recruitment of students, try and get into various universities, especially students that have setbacks with qualifications and entry requirements and so on. So we help facilitate their ambition in trying to get to these universities, as well as also in Canada. We also have lots of colleges where we facilitate people who are willing to have certain skill sets,
Okay.
like in the area of caregiving, like you mentioned, are willing to migrate to Canada and start a whole new life. Yes, so that's what we.
Maybe speak out there. Okay, so it's Oxford International Group are in affiliation with Oxford University.
No.
So it's a different organization altogether.
Yeah. Outside international education. Business.
Okay. Is there any other extra services Oxford International renders?
Well, apart from being the number one leading educational provider in the world, I don't think they are into any other thing. We're just very good at helping people meet their ambitions.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now we'll have to go into work part here. Um, there's been a rise, okay, in Canada, right? There's been lots of requests. People planning to migrate as caregivers in Canada. And over research, right, we had like 8.4 million population already as caregivers. So if we have this population of people, why is there a need for more caregivers?
Because we keep getting older populations.
Older population.
Yeah.
Why are there old people in Canada? Why are there much older people in Canada? Why isn't population increasing?
Well, I think we have much older people everywhere in the world, even here in Africa. It's a natural occurrence. People get old, and sometimes when you have a situation where the demographics of young people and young births are quite slower compared with the already aging population that you have.
Okay.
So what you find that in the next couple of years, you get to see, a trend of having more aging population compared with young people, because you don't have enough young births and young people to actually match up with those population that you already have that are aging.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have a question here. Now, the current age, right, for caregivers starts from 15 to 45. Now, we have 52% of caregivers as women and 42% of caregivers as men. So if already this age now already starts, like they migrate to Canada to care for the elderly people. Now, the elderly people will probably start from 50, depending on the situation they have, right? Depending on what they are going through, depending on the type of services they need.
Yeah.
This number, because why I'm asking you this question about the number already, 8.4 million, it's too much. 8.4 million, it's just too much. And now, don't you think this is a form of slavery? Because you cannot have this number of people in Canada and you're still inviting extra migrants to come to Canada just to caregiving jobs.
First of all, the I don't think the demographics you have is correct. I think an average caregiver should be at least 18 years of age.
Okay.
Because you actually have to be around it.
Okay.
So, another adult. Yeah, but 8.4 million caregivers. Well, I'm not sure of that statistics, but
Yeah.
if we put it in context of the general aging population out there in the world. I mean, in the world where you have about over a billion people or so, they should 8.4 million people in a particular industry. I don't think it's a lot to ask for. But what I don't think it's true is 8.4 million people in Canada being caregivers. No, I don't think that number is correct.
Well,
Probably if it's 8.4 million people in the world, yeah, we can
no, I
actually.
saw the research 8.4 million people as caregivers. That's the population, the number of population already in Canada. Because that's what I'm just asking. Don't you think this is another model of slavery?
Well, I have to fact check that statistics. But then in your second question,
Yes.
I don't think so. I mean, no, it's we have to put a context to what slavery is first of all,
Okay.
before we now try to juxtapose that with what caregiving is. Because at the end of the slavery is more extreme in all its purest form than what this is. Slavery is about taking someone's will away.
We have more than
Yeah, we do. I'm not disputing that, but I don't see caregiving as anything close to that because it's a job like any other job out there
a job.
that people do
Okay.
willingly.
Okay.
People apply to do those jobs. People actually spend time learning certain skill sets
Before.
before they take this job. So they invest their time, energy, and mind into wanting to become care assistants or caregivers.
Okay.
And so there's every bit of willingness and self-awareness in them trying to start a career in that particular aspect. So I do not see that in any way relating to slavery.
Slavery.
Yeah.
Well, if this is not slavery, actually, now we have people with degrees, either a master's, PhD, or DSc. And those people go work as caregivers. So yeah, if this is not slavery. So why are they doing that job? Like, is it that caregiving has become like a course of study, or it has become a program? Because they cannot have this quality within themselves. And the only thing they can apply for is a caregiving job outside this.
Well, it depends on the opportunities that is available to them. Caregiving is an industry on its own. I mean, just like we have nursing, and medicine, and other industries. So it's an industry of its own that also has its own structure, organizational structures that apply. And so when people choose to go into that industry, yes, of course, they submit themselves to some form of educational training and skill set training for them to be able to qualify to take on those jobs. But at the same time, it's also a personal choice for people, to decide to opt to become a care assistant. And also the fact that opportunities avail them as well. I mean, there are still lots of people in Nigeria, in Africa, that have master's degree in so many amazing courses that are jobless or are doing something far more demeaning than that. So it's
I have a
I don't think
question.
your argument stinks.
No, I have a question for you. Before I ask you a personal question. Now, why is caregiving in Nigeria or in Africa as a whole, right? Let's just say Africa as an example. Why is caregiving in Africa suffering, but in other countries an opportunity?
Oh, how do you mean it's suffering?
Of course, because if you take someone to go help someone like the domestic staff, they see it as though they are going through a
Because we
lot.
don't have a structure in this part of the world to be able to manage this sort of occupational, section. It's just what it is. You can't blame the Western world for being able to put their structures in place to be able to afford people the opportunity, to earn money doing this. And of course, no dispute that there are lots of unsung heroes in terms of social care and elderly care in Africa. Most people do it as out of the fact that they don't have a choice,
Okay.
caring for family members, friends, or loved ones. But then, if the government decides willingly or unwillingly not to put this into a structure and properly organize that sector of industry to make it very lucrative for young people to buy in or key into making a career for themselves out of it. I don't think anyone that wishes to seek an opportunity out there, to improve their lives by doing this, it should be a problem.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, our government, our institutions have an obligation, for them to be able to organize industries like this, to ensure that people, are properly compensated for doing that. I'm sure if we had a very well organized structure, the way we have banking, or the way we have the oil sector, and we have an organized structure for social care, because I'm sure we have a ministry that handles that. Because these days people really understand what ministries we have. But I'm sure we have a ministry that handles that. Yeah. But if we have that ministry organize this, particular occupational section, into a very, very attractive, financially and otherwise sector, young people will definitely join.
Okay. I learned that you studied in the UK, right?
Where? You learned from where?
Come on now.
I just told you.
Yes, ma'am. So you studied in the UK. So I want to ask you, during your study, did you by any chance do caregiving job?
Yeah.
What kind of caregiving job did you do?
Well, my private is my personal
Yes,
affairs.
I want to know because you sound like caregiving is one simple job. And I know that caregiving is one of the hardest job ever. So what type of caregiving job did you do?
Have you done one?
I'm asking you. The question is for you.
But you're making the assumption.
No, you just have to answer because you said you did caregiving. So I want to know the type of caregiving you did.
Well, the different aspect of caregiving.
Okay.
It depends on what you want to go into. There's people that specialize in childcare, and we have people specialize in adult care. There's mental care as well.
Okay.
Yeah, and just general care. It just depends on one. It depends on where you're
Falling.
not necessarily falling. One, it depends on where your skill set allows you to be, and or your training allows you to be, and also it also boils down to the availability of jobs as well.
So if the job available is for you to clean food or wash diaper or change your diaper or repeat, because all this caregiving job comes with patients and tolerance. So you, based on the fact that you have an experience,
Make the job understanding, and that's
no.
that's not,
I want it to be like whomever that is probably going to be applying for this caregiving job outside. So the person will prepare his or mine.
I'm sure they already understand what is involved in caregiving.
Really?
Yeah. You
It gets to a
don't
point.
have to spell out the details.
It gets to a point where the receiver becomes violent. And you're aware of that.
Yeah, that's every job.
Really? That's the answer you're going to give me, right?
But what do you want me to say?
You're trying to play smart, bro. It's okay.
No, I'm not playing smart. The thing is, you're trying to shred the negative side of being a caregiver.
No,
so
I'm
much.
not trying to shred.
That might scare people away from it.
That is why I need you to clarify the situation.
It's still a very, very, very morally necessary part of our society. So, and yeah, of course, are there situations where, certain encounters arises in the job? What is part of the training to deal with those things?
Okay.
And people would definitely be given the best training and advice on how to handle certain situations like that arise, or certain altercations of that nature. But that should not in any way deter people from, the huge opportunity the job provides.
Okay, speaking about training, okay, from what you said earlier today, you're saying you provide training for people, terms of caregiving and any other program you handle, right? So after the training, first of all, tell us about the training.
Also, we have a college in Canada. Actually, we have 3 colleges in Canada. And what we specialize in is actually preparing people for different skill sets that would help them get a job in Canada. And at the end of the day, also apply to your permanent residence. You get the very short time frame. So, but for the college we have in Halifax, which is the capital of Nova Scotia, where it is, our college there specializes in training how to be caregivers. And this training runs for 9 months, so you can see it's quite intensive. And as part of this training, and as part of that 9 months training, the students embark on very critical placement opportunities. You see, again, they are given industrial experience, and this work placement opportunity is where they are, given that first-hand experience on the real life encounter they would have as care assistants, and they'll have very experienced industry supervisors guiding them and trying to ensure that they have the right balance in terms of their approach, communication, and demeanor on the job. By the time they finish this placement, write the final exams, graduate at the end of the 9 months, they get a certification in the year where they come out with guaranteed employment opportunities.
Okay.
The province.
Okay, so basically this is your newly launched program, is that it?
No, this has been on.
Okay.
This has been on. The one we just newly launched is the early childhood education, which is for people that are willing to become, early childhood educators for young kids. Because we're beginning to see a trend where there are shortages of, early childhood educators in Canada as well. And because of the huge migration pool, that Canada tends to bear on a yearly basis, you find a lot of families moving out to Canada, and as a result of that, you have a lot of young kids, in the nursery schools that are in need of, teachers and educators that will guide them properly.
Okay.
Yeah. And so these jobs opportunities open up as migration expands, and so this skill set is now a necessity in Canada. And so we also being at the forefront of ensuring that we provide people with the best opportunity to be able to take advantage of these skills. Yeah, so we are currently calling on people to actually apply or show interest in wanting to be an early childhood educator.
Okay.
If you're regular with kids.
Okay.
Preferably women. That are very compassionate with kids and would love to spend more time with them. Yeah, so we're actually looking for
Preferably women.
Yeah, women are better with kids.
So you see, that is why we're off. We're just literally tackling the whole everything. Now, preferably women. Why not men? Why can't men?
I didn't say men shouldn't apply.
They just prefer women.
Yeah.
So meaning that
It's a
just
preference.
women.
There's a preference. No. It's not the same thing as just men. It's a preference.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So after 9 months of the program, what's the guarantee that these people are going to get the job immediately? Because they have 9 months to study, right, to graduate, and then an extra 3 months, but then you stay.
Yeah.
So if within 3 months you're not able to, get a job, what happens to them?
Well, the thing is, we are very certain about the availability of jobs in Canada for students. And so, we would not take on students if we cannot cater for, their post-study plans. There's a huge vacancy pool that exists here in both industries, in the area of, care assistance, and also in the area of, early childhood education. And also in, and this is for Nova Scotia actually, in British Columbia, Vancouver, there's also a rising need for hospitality experts and business experts as well, which is some of the, I mean, because of the cosmopolitan nature of Vancouver as a city, there's a huge industrialization opportunities out there. So experts are needed in those areas. Yeah. So the way Canada works is, the provinces need certain things at a time.
Okay.
It's not just a free for all in terms of skills and employment. And so one of the things we are very good at is identifying where certain skills are needed at certain time in certain provinces and trying to see how we can create a perfect migration plan, for people to ensure that first of all they get the right training in that skill set. And once they have done with the training, they get the right opportunity in the world to expand that skill set and get the necessary experience they need. And of course, once they are settled in those skill sets, they can now, build their life and get a permanent residence to stay with their family out that place.
So are they allowed to invite extra family? Yeah. And then secondly, what would prepare you for immigration?
19, as long as you're between 19 and 25 years of age, then good to go.
Okay, so you made mention about your program, okay? But what are the criteria that the people apply for this program? What are the things, when you say incentive, like what's going to give them the boost that this program is going to benefit them?
The fact that, I think the unique thing about this program is, the fact that it provides them with a proper skill. They go through, a series of, training, for 9 months, get the right skills, get the right qualification, they earn, the right for them to be called care assistant or early childhood educators, and then after that, they also get the, the right opportunities for them to be able to, express those skills and in a job setting and, build their life in Canada. And for people from Africa, we've made the requirements quite easy for them.
Okay.
Because all they just need is just a high school. Because actually, you don't really need to be a first degree holder or a master's degree holder for it to be into care assisting or early childhood education. Especially when you still undertake some form of training again or some form of certification to modify you. So we have all that covered for them. So I think the criteria for them is if you're a high school holder, you have your WIEC, you have your NECO.
Okay.
At least you have a pass in your WIEC or NECO, I think C6. Yeah, that's the minimum for WIEC, WASI, GCSE in the case of Kenya, ZIMSEC for Zimbabwe. You have that. And yeah, you're between the ages of 19 and 45. You have a passion for this. And yep, you think, you're ready to start a life in Canada. Why not?
That's good. Where is Oxford International? If you go, where can I find it? Apart from Canada, which other country can we find this campuses?
Well, actually, we are quite global, because we also operate in the UK.
Okay.
We operate in Canada. We operate in the US also, and we operate in Australia as well. So we have different campuses, in different techniques. So our UK, Australia and US market is more, graduate and undergraduate based. So you want to an undergrad in any of the universities that we have. We want to do a master's, and maybe you're struggling to get directly into some of these universities, and you can always use us as a pathway provider to have access to these universities, because we sort of give lots of students a soft landing in terms of entry requirement, because sometimes trying to meet the criteria of certain universities in the US, Australia, and even in the UK can be quite difficult, especially as our educational situation in Nigeria do not really afford students the opportunity to be able to, enhance their potentials, per se. So there will definitely be the gap, that needs to be bridged to enable people to migrate their educational plans from one place to the other. So that's what we specialize in. We just build that bridge for people to achieve that same thing, even when they struggle with meeting certain criteria.
Okay, I have a question. Sorry. Terms of this program, do you make provision for maybe shelter or like Oxford International charge of everything where they're going to stay before they can find their way?
Yeah, of course. There are some of our campuses have on-campus accommodation. Some don't. Well, even in the cases where the campus don't have on-campus accommodation, we have a very strong support team out there that helps students finding private residencies or private accommodations around the campuses around the country that find themselves. Like in the case of Canada now, we don't really have on-campus accommodations because we have lots of private residences around, but students can stay. There are student residencies they can pay for, and still have the most comfortable experience in achieving their education pursuit and all that.
Okay, so tell us about the permanent resident. Like after program, what's the guarantee that the person is going to get a job in PDC? Because that's very important.
Yeah, like earlier stated, the job placement are definitely not from for students, because we have a very strong team in place. We have a very strong process in place to ensure that student transcends from when they finish the program to getting a job and staying back in Canada. In terms of the permanent residence, we work mostly with the already existing structures, within the provinces. Different provinces have different approaches to getting permanent residents. Well, let me focus particularly on Nova Scotia, for instance, just to give you an insight into how it works. So with Nova Scotia, they have a program called the IGID, which is the International Graduate in Demand Stream. And the way it works is, whenever there is, certain skill set that are lacking in workforce, and it's getting to a point where, the government feels that, we need to do something about this particular skill set. So what happens is that skill set is being put in the IGID program. So the IGID program is like a fast track program for permanent residents, for people that are either working within that skill set or are willing to work within that skill set. So for instance, in the area of nursing assistant and care assistant, if you do your research within Nova Scotia government website, you will see that nursing assistant is kind of the IGIDs, because there is a huge occupational vacuum in that particular employment industry. And so when the government needs to fill a particular skill set urgently, they put it as part of IGID, like I said. So once you qualify, you have a qualification in that particular skill set. You have a job in that particular skill set.
So you need to tell me if you don't qualify, you'll make me send back to wherever you came from.
Well, everyone is going to qualify.
How are you so sure? Why are you so certain that everyone is going to qualify?
A process of training and being prepared for them to be able to gain their qualification. So it shouldn't be a problem for them.
So after that, I definitely convinced that everyone is going to get a job. So let's imagine they'll have like 1,000 people registered for your program, for this program right now. The 1,000 people are definitely going to get a job as permanent residents. That's exactly.
Let me give you some numbers to help you. Yeah, I've personally recruited as part of Oxford International Group, Canada, close to 300 persons from Africa.
300 persons from Africa.
Yeah, and we enjoyed 100% retention rate so far from the students that apparently in Canada we not had anyone that's behind or black out of the way. So that tells you there is a huge structure in place that understands the process very well and understands how to.
You're not sounding convinced. The way you're sounding, you're not giving that conviction that, okay, these people are going to get this permanent residence job after the whole program and everything. Because why are you talking like that? Convince me. Convince people.
But me receipts.
You're giving me the sleep. Now, okay, you're talking, you mentioned numbers, right? You made numbers of 300 people. Now, it's focused in Canada. I want us to go back to the homestay conversation. Now, 300 people migrate to Canada for caregiving program. Now, after the job, after the program, they get a job, right? But guarantee that they're definitely getting a job.
Yeah.
It still boils down to, don't you think this is a form of slavery? And you also mentioned Africa. You also mentioned Africa.
Don't use that word.
No. You mentioned Africa.
Yeah.
Why is a target in Africa?
Well, we have markets all over the world.
Okay.
They're only talking to me because I'm the representative for West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
For West Africa.
Yeah.
So that's why your main target is Africa.
My market is Africa. Yeah.
So it's simple enough.
We have other representatives from different parts of the world. We run a very diverse college. We have people from Asia. We have people from East Africa, North Africa. We also have people from some Western countries as well. So it's not a very monotonous, college in terms of country diversity. There's a lot of cultural diversity as well.
But more Africans.
It's okay. Well, the truth is, you can't blame Africans for being more enthusiastic with opportunities.
Really?
Yeah. I'll give you a personal story.
Yes.
So I remember one day, I walked into the bank, not going to say which bank, before my money vanishes. I remember one day I walked into the bank and I was having a conversation with my account officer, and he told me about his desire first he explained the challenges he was having with the bank and the fact that his group was almost stagnated, and he wanted to get a better life for himself and his family. And we had a conversation around his desire wanting to migrate to Canada.
Okay.
And I said to him, this is what I do. This is our program. Jump on it and see what you can make out of it.
Okay.
And funny enough, he started the process. Yeah, got involved. I think this was 2 years ago, 2022. He got involved in the process. I think he finished the process in somewhat towards the early part of 2020. He traveled to Canada to our college. Couple of months, he took his family over. And couple of months after, we had a conversation and he said, I just graduated from the CCA program. Actually, I was supposed to go to his graduation at that time. Everything started to go on. I had some other engagement within Africa that I needed to just focus on. And a couple of weeks back, I had a conversation with him and he was like, he wants to tell me something. And like, what he did, he said, I'm just calling to thank you. Because I just had my PR on myself and my family all sorted now.
Okay.
So, when you look at it, or when you hear such stories. It almost gives me that convincing feeling that, I'm actually doing the right thing, or I find myself in a situation where I'm offering people the right opportunities. Because fast forward 2 years after, he will still be, in the bank. He will still be my account officer. He will still be half as miserable as he was doing something he didn't feel very comfortable in. And now, instead of that, I've been on a journey with him for the past 3 years, and he's very settled in Canada with his wife and kids. I mean, happier than ever.
Okay,
More than ever.
let me cut you.
Now, before you cut,
Let me cut
before you
you.
cut it, let me ask you. Let me reverse
Okay.
the question back to you.
Mm.
Now, would you call that slavery? Would you call what he was facing in Nigeria slavery?
That is why I asked you the question. Why is Africa, like maybe when we go through 1 or 2 days in Africa, we see it as suffering, but once we leave the country and go to a different country, we see it as an opportunity. Why is that?
Because the conditions are not favorable in this part of the world.
Oh, really? I have a story. Yeah, there's this friend of my friends. He would actually say he had a kidney failure at the contributed money for him for a transfer. Now, I'm sure the transfer was supposed to be done in Nigeria, but that's where he's from. Do you know what this guy did? But after opening a GoFundMe account for him, they raised over 25 million naira to this man. Instead of it to get a surgery, to travel with the money to Canada. Now, it's being a caregiver in Canada, even while he's sick. What do you think that is? Because to me, I feel like this is personal slavery to himself.
Because it doesn't have faith in what the system provides. You don't know. This may sound funny, but you don't know the things people go through in trying to make an ends meet in this part of the world. Like, it's almost like you don't have an iota of hope for what bestows you the next day. I mean, it's more daunting thinking about it than even facing it, because it's quite strange. I mean, there's a slogan that goes around that says, "If Nigeria happens to you," and that is not even close to a joke, because it's quite as real as the sentence in itself specifies. So when you see people seek opportunities out there, it's not because they are devoid of common sense, but they are basically just counting their teeth.
Mr. Victor, there are still people that are making in Africa or in Nigeria. There are still people that are making it.
I don't disagree with that fact, but what are the statistics?
So you think him making the decision of leaving his surgery to travel outside and become a caregiver is the best decision he made? Because now he's basically on dialysis.
Well, I do not have a full context of that story for me to be able to ascertain if the man made the best decision. But what I can say is that in that situation he's probably having better medical care out there that he would have gotten
here.
Yeah, in this part of the world.
So you think maybe he would have died? Maybe if he had had the surgery here in Nigeria and levels, let me.
See, they are very crazy stories out there with things that go on with Nigeria and the health industry, the care industry, so many industry that it's crazy. I'm telling you. I basically, like I said, I schooled in the UK, and I'm going to give you a very personal story. I schooled in the UK, and what made that possible for me was because I and a couple of my friends that were much above me, we all got a government scholarship from my state for us to be able to go out there to study. But you know what happened down the line? We all got abandoned by the government. Fend for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And no, that's not slavery.
Really?
That is pure gross wickedness and abandonment.
Absolutely.
And a state in this country that has a minister that is serving in this present government at the time abandoned the human capital resources abroad. And let me give you numbers so you understand what I mean.
Okay.
We lost, the state at the time lost about 26 medical doctors to the Caribbean. Abandoned it.
That's it.
I have about close to 15 friends in Europe that are medical doctors right now that do not even dream of coming back to this country. We all lost them to the diaspora because of, the actions of our government.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about people that are, that just have a degree. I'm talking about when you talk about the best of the best of them, because the previous government at the time, set up the scholarship program in such a way that it was only the best of the best students, that were being offered a scholarship. I'm talking about having friends currently. I have friends currently that have first class in UCL London, civil engineers from top universities in the UK, medical doctors from top universities in Europe and the US. And, Nigeria happened to them.
Nigeria happened
for something, that they did not even bargain for, that they did not beg for.
But you happened to you when you were abandoned in the UK for the scholarship you got.
Yeah, boy, I was abandoned by Nigeria, not by the UK government.
But you were abandoned in UK.
Yes, I was abandoned in the UK.
How did it by the Nigerian government?
Because I was sponsored by them.
Okay, so what now happened to you after the whole abandonment?
Exactly. So the opportunities out there is what afforded me the chance to be able to finish up my studies and have the degree today that I have, which is giving me the opportunity for me to be able to be where I am today, representing one of the largest international organizations in the world.
So if you were abandoned in Nigeria, you wouldn't have had the opportunity. Is that it?
Would I?
I'm asking.
Yeah, of course.
Why would you think you would have the opportunity to abandon in Nigeria? Because you're from Nigeria before you travel to the UK to study.
And why you even justifying abandonment in the first place?
You're the one that told me that they abandoned you in the UK.
You think that abandoning people, is something that everyone can pick themselves from.
It's not ever. That was why I asked you, what did you do? You said you used
exactly, and that's what I mentioned.
If it happened to you in Nigeria, don't you think you would have used the same initiative you used over the
No, because the same opportunities that I was afforded in the UK, I wouldn't have gotten them here. the same structures that made it possible for me to be able to cater for my fees, wouldn't have been possible here. The same support that I was given, even by my university at the time.
You enslaved yourself there. I refuse to enslave yourself in Nigeria because it still boils down to slavery. So you gave yourself, in fact, you enslaved yourself in the UK. But you call it suffering in Nigeria. You wouldn't have gotten the opportunity in Nigeria, but you got the opportunity in the UK. That's slavery. It's absolute slavery.
I wouldn't call that enslaving yourself.
No, that's enslaving yourself.
No, I wouldn't call that enslaving yourself. Because I'm trying to be as nice as possible with that comment, because you don't get to have a choice in such situations.
Yeah. I'll come back. Go ahead.
So all you need to do is just find a way to survive and find a way to make your dreams possible.
Exactly the one thing.
And there are still that's not what
you're trying to survive. You're trying to get yourself off from whatever suffering you're going through. That's slavery. That is you going through slavery constant. Now you're trying to get yourself out from that slavery. That's what you did.
I think we need to go back to the basic understanding of slavery, because
can you help me?
You're using the word too many times in context, in certain contexts that are not even applied. That's the truth, because slavery is you not having the will, or your willpower taken from you in a certain situation. And in most historical events that relates to slavery, people don't have a choice for what they tend to do and how they get rewarded for what they do. So if you rewind back to the slave situation we had in Nigeria back in the days, the story of King Daniel Okobo and the rest of them, you would understand of the slave boundary in Badagry in Lagos. Maybe you need to pay a visit there to sort of understand. Because there is a rich cultural reflection, when you go to such places, and it helps you understand what actually transpired in those times. People were sold for mirrors. In short, if you give someone back in the days a mirror and an umbrella, it would give you a child as jara for the adults you are purchasing for mirror and umbrella. So that in itself is a situation where the real power of those people were taken away from them. And the cotton fields they were going to harvest in the West, where they were taken to, they were not subjected to any form of remuneration. Rather, they were enslaving themselves as a solidarity or loyalty or serving their slave masters as it were at the time. None of them were offered pays for the the sufferings they went through in cultivating the cotton plantations day in, day out under the scorching sun of the West. And so you cannot put that in the same sentence as people seeking opportunities in Western countries, because the difference between what we have today and how the world has evolved is the fact that people get to choose the opportunities they want. People get to choose what they want to do in life, no matter how condescending you might think it is. But they get to choose what they want to do in life. They get rewarded for what they want to do in life, and they're happy that way. You cannot tell someone, yes, I mean, it's yet the happiness comes from the choice of being able to pick, whatever you feel gives you a sense of belonging or a sense of well-being. For instance, you cannot tell someone that is earning about 33,000 in Nigeria, which is give or take the minimum wage, in Nigeria, and the person has an opportunity to go be, for instance, a care assistant in the UK or in Canada, and gets to earn between 15 to 20 Canadian dollars an hour for doing something that is even far more morally better than what he's doing in Nigeria, and working in a structure that is far more organized, finding himself in a system that works far better than the country he finds himself. And you think such a person wouldn't jump for that opportunity?
You spoke about happiness. So do you think the people that get those job opportunities outside Africa or outside Nigeria, you think they're happy?
Are they happy in Nigeria?
Yeah. What?
Are they happy in Nigeria?
Are they happy?
But we don't have the statistics to judge that. But I can tell you from the top of my head, they would be way happier.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Victor, for helping us clear the doubts and the consent. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this episode. And we have Mr. Victor that tried to digest the whole thing. So you can see that caregiving is not slavery. For those of you that are quite interested to join in this program, Mr. Victor is going to be in a better position to explain more and further about it. So before we go, please tell us what's your final say about the whole thing.
Well, a very engaging conversation.
Yeah.
And what I would say to people out there is, feel free to seek out the best opportunity out there for yourself. Maybe it's your fundamental human right to look out for yourself and to look out for better opportunities out there. You don't have any in your country or promise. And we in Oxford, we offer people one of the greatest opportunities that they would need to embark on, certain skill sets that will offer them opportunities for them to remain in Canada and have very fulfilling, life-changing job opportunities, and also change the lives of their families as well. So For more information, I implore everyone to go to our website, being displayed on the screen. You can read more about the programs that we have in Canada and how to put in an application if you want to take the opportunity. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Edu Talk Podcast. I've been your host, Amara Chilafa. Do well to join us on another episode. Thank you.